Ooh, hey, hi, hello. I think this thing is on. We're getting it together. It's a beautiful gray day out there. It's a little bit chilly cold. But it's just past 11:11, which, as you know, is a perfect time to take some deep breaths, let go of some stress. As usual, I'm here to do a quick body check and invite you to join me if you feel like it, to whatever degree you feel like it. I'm a little bit crowded up in here because I've been moving stuff around, but I'm just going to make do the best I can with what I got from where I am, because that's how I do. So let's start with a little shaking things off, and then I'm going to take a nice slow roll down. I'm going to first take a breath or so to just root myself into the center of the earth, bringing my awareness into the bottoms of my feet. Hanging myself from the center of the universe, relaxing into that a little bit. And then I'm going to roll on down, just checking in with the spine, seeing where it's supple, where it's sticky, where things are stiff. And just hanging out here, letting the spine hang off the hips for a breath or so, letting gravity do some unwinding. We're pretty stiff up in there. All through here. Been going, and I'm not done yet. Just taking another breath or so just to relax the belly, really trying to hang off the hips. And I'm going to roll up nice and slow, stacking one vertebra on the next. Just checking in with that spine, seeing how it's doing today. I'm going to swing the arms back, lift the chest, lift the eyes, come and do a little counter stretch. And then I'm going to do a forward fold, this time with a relatively flat back, still from the hips, making sure not to lock the knees. Coming on down past the waist again and just hanging here. Letting go of some stresses. I'm going to give myself a nice hug. First, I'm going to adjust these little bit too tight painting britches. And I'm going to give myself a hug, pulling up in the waist, up in the pelvic floor, back in the abdomen actually, and left elbow over right for starters. Just giving myself a nice hug, pulling these shoulder blades apart, giving a squeeze to the shoulders, rounding the spine, tucking the chin, still working to pull back in the abdomen, up in the pelvic floor. And then releasing all of that from the hips again. Coming down into that forward fold, shaking it out a little. And then I'm going to come up this time right elbow over left for another hug. Again, pulling up in the pelvic floor, back in the waist, tucking the chin, rounding the spine, pulling these shoulder blades apart. Noticing the ka-chunks, that's all right. That's just the normal noises in here. And then I'm going to come down again from the hips, hanging here, letting gravity do some unwinding. I'm going to use both hands on the left leg a little bit to pull over to the left, and then both hands on the right leg to pull over on the right. And then I'm going to increase that twist a little, putting right hand on left foot and lifting that left arm, gazing out past those fingertips, giving all those organs a nice little ringing out. Hello. How you doing? I'm doing all right. I'm going to come back to center, using both hands on both legs to pull the body down and back, really trying to elongate the front top half of the body, the top half of the body over the bottom half of the body. Folding the front to each other, becoming the inside. I'm going to take left hand over to the right foot now and lifting the right arm to gaze past those fingertips, giving a nice squeeze on the other side, a nice wringing out, little twist, and then coming back to center again, using both hands on both legs, pulling the body down and back, elongating the spine. I'm going to make sure my feet are rooted under my hips, and then bend the knees, swing the arms back, coming into that counter stretch again, pushing the hips forward, lifting the chest and eyes, relaxing the belly, coming to neutral, shake all that out a little bit, give it a good shaking. It's a good thing for Etch-a-Sketches and bodies. Just give them a good shaking out sometimes. Ah. Helps to breathe and smile too. Doesn't hurt, I can tell you that. I'm going to step back with this left foot first and do a moderate lunge. Pulling the back hip forward, forward hip back, tipping the tailbone under a little bit, checking that this front knee is not crunching past the front toes, pushing into that back heel. And just enjoying a nice upright sensation through the torso. Trying to relax into a nice, stable, steady, strong, relaxed position. And then I'm going to push onto that diagonal, feeling for a nice energetic line out the heel, through the spine, out the fingertips. Still making sure not to crunch past the toes with that front knee. And still pulling that back hip forward, forward hip back, looking for a perpendicular line through the hips, parallel lines with the feet. Get into that diagonal line a little bit more, and then I'm going to shift that back heel forward a little bit onto the perpendicular line, opening the hips now, swinging this knee out, swinging this hip open, and checking out this imaginary plane right here. Still pulling up in the pelvic floor, tipping that tailbone under a little, looking for a nice long and strong line through the core, supported with the spine and the abdomen. And then I'm going to bend from the hips to the side now, sliding this back foot out just a little bit more so that I still don't crunch past the toes with that knee. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. Coming into this side twisting triangle aeroplane pose, as I like to call it. I'm going to use my right arm and right leg for torque and support against each other, making sure not to collapse in that side, but holding up nice and strong with this strong leg here, using this arm and leg against each other for torque and support. And I'm going to lift this left arm up, gazing past those fingertips. Then I'm going to increase that twist, bringing this arm around the back to reach for this opposite thigh, giving a nice wringing out to all those organs. A little more. Hello. Hi, how are ya? It's good to just get the stagnation out of there. Twist, stretch, push, pull. Breathe, smile. All those things are good for dislodging stagnant energy, getting the flow back in ya. You can do about 10 times more and feel about 10 times better if you do it in flow as opposed to doing it from a stuck, trapped, wounded position. This is a choice we all have all the time. Most of the time. Most of us have most of the time. I'll put a little caveat asterisk there. Enjoying that twisting triangle pose for an extra breath or so, and then I'm going to shift onto the back toes, unwinding all that, bringing this hand down on the inside of this front leg, enjoying a nice deep lunge here, and then bringing weight onto both hands, bringing that front leg back to meet the back leg, and pushing now through the palms. Fingers are wide, palms are strong, feeling for that energetic line through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, and pressing the heels down toward the earth, pressing the heart toward the earth. Often called downward facing dog or upside down tent or triangle pose. It's not an upside down tent, is it? It's a right side up tent, upside down triangle, or right side up triangle. I think it's a right side up triangle. In case you were wondering, which I'm guessing you weren't. I'm going to swing the body forward now in a nice, slow, controlled fashion. I'm going to inch those feet back, keeping the legs together, and lifting the chest and eyes, letting the belly just drop. Keeping the butt together to protect that low back, and really trying to relax the front of the body, relax the belly, while still not collapsing in those shoulders. Lifting the eyes, lifting the chest. You give a nice stretch through the tongue and face. We sometimes like to rock a little bit on those toes and kind of play with that stretch through the front of the torso and the low back. And then I'm going to push through the palms, lifting those chest again, lifting those hips, pressing the chest toward the center of the earth, lifting the hips, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing into those heels. Let's tread those heels just a little bit, bending the right knee and pressing into the left, bending the left knee, pressing into the right, and one more time, pressing into the left, and pressing into the right, and then pressing with both palms through the spine, tipping the tailbone, pressing those heels down. And I'm going to swing the left foot forward in between the hands for a nice deep lunge. Adjust the maladjusted shirt. This shirt does not fit me no matter how much I wish it did. It's almost a brand new shirt. I keep thinking, maybe it could fit me, but no, it's made for a different kind of body. Someone much shorter and wider than me with much shorter arms. I'm going to step forward with that back foot and hang here again in forward fold. Giving a nice sigh there, letting gravity do some more unwinding. And I'm going to bend the knees, swing the arms back, lifting the chest and eyes, coming into that back bend, counter stretch again, trying to not to hit the dome. Lifting the eyes, lifting the chest, pushing the hips forward, and then coming back to neutral. Let's shake all that out again. Shake it to the left, shake it to the right. Just let go of some stress. There'll be more on the way, or you can always pick up the stresses that you put down if you really think they're crucial, important, you really want them. But I can pretty much guarantee you, if you just set them down and forget them, there'll be new stresses that will arrive in hardly any time at all. So you really don't need to worry about the stresses you got now. You can just let them go. There'll be new stresses. I'm going to step back with the right foot and pulling that back hip forward. This forward hip back, again looking for a perpendicular line with the hips, parallel lines with the feet, pushing into that back right foot now. Again, checking that the front knee is not crunching past the front toes. Just enjoying a nice, steady, firm pose here for a breath or so. Nice and upright through the core, spine and abdomen working together. That takes tipping the tailbone under actively. I'm going to slide that back heel out a little bit more, pushing onto this diagonal line, feeling for that energetic line out the heel, through the spine, out the fingertips. And then I'm going to swing this back heel forward a little bit onto the perpendicular line, opening the hips now, swinging this front knee out, opening this hip out, and checking out this side plane here. Continuing to slide that back foot out just a little bit more, and then I'm going to bend from the hips into a side twisting triangle on the other side. Now using my left arm and leg for torque and support, and lifting that right leg, this thing's an arm. Lifting the right arm, gazing past those fingertips, making sure not to collapse in that supporting leg and arm, but again, using them for torque and support and stability here. And I'm going to increase that wringing out, twisting, by bringing this arm around the back side to reach for this thigh, gazing out past that long leg. And just saying hello to all those organs. Hey kidneys, hey liver, hey pancreas, hey gallbladder and other bladder and ducts and guts. How you doing? I think they're doing all right. We're doing all right, everybody says. I'm going to unwind all that and bring this arm down on the inside of this left leg for a nice deep lunge. I like to give that just a little bounce, a little rocking, a little exploration of range of motion. And then I'm going to bring weight onto both hands and bring this front foot back to meet the back foot. Pressing through the palms, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head. Pressing into those heels. Pressing the heart toward the center of the earth. Just enjoying that for a breath or so. And then I'm going to bring the body forward, lifting the eyes and chest through the shoulders, keeping the legs tight together, squeezing the butt together to protect that low back as I let the belly just drop. Getting a nice stretch through the front of the body, lifting the chest and eyes, relaxing the belly. Give a nice tongue stretch there, and maybe a little shifting on those toes. Really trying to relax the belly, get a nice stretch through the front there. And then lifting those hips, pressing through the palms again. Pressing into the heels, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing the heart toward the center of the earth. Pressing the heels into the center of the earth. Just enjoying that. Strong position for a breath or so. And then I'm going to swing that right foot forward in between the hands. A nice deep lunge on the other side. Trying to keep things even. And then I'm going to step forward with this back foot to meet the front foot and hang here again in forward fold. Let's do a gene check. It's a good time to remind you, you don't need any special outfit. Let's roll up one vertebra at a time. Just checking in with the spine again. Doesn't take a special outfit or a special area or a special time of day or a special bit of movement to check in with your body and give yourself a little love. Enjoying this counter stretch now, lifting the chest and eyes, just letting the arms fall back, pushing the belly forward and the hips forward. Let's bring the arms together back here. Add a little more stretch to that, a little depth. And then coming back to upright. Shake all that out. Whew. As I was saying, it's great to have a great outfit. It's great to have a hand-built dome. I highly recommend it. But it is not necessary to give yourself a little check, a little love, a little movement. It's an ongoing process. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I vary it up, even though sometimes I do the same stuff. Other times I don't. And consistency is the key, and I fall off often, regularly, almost as regularly as I get back on track. And over the decades of doing that, I can attest that the more I just show up regularly and do something, which is why I like to keep my minimums pretty low, set the bar low, always trying to get higher than that bar. But if I set that minimum requirement pretty low, no special outfit or time or movement required, but just showing up for myself, giving a quick check, doing what I can with what I got from where I am, then that consistency helps build trust, helps build a great relationship with myself, and over time has led to me feeling much better overall. So that's my unsolicited ramble for midday today. Let's do just a little more checking in with the balance before we get on with the rest of the day. I'm going to bring weight onto the right foot and bring this left knee up toward left shoulder, relaxing that supporting side, tipping the tailbone under a little, relaxing the shoulders. You can hear the garbage man's finally made it out there. Let's give a little ankle rotation on this side while we're here. Just checking in with the little bones. And then I'm going to, still relaxing that supporting foot, reach for the bottom of this foot. I'm going to enjoy a nice stretch through the shoulders, back of neck, and then pulling that back, tipping the tailbone under. Again, relaxing that supporting foot, relaxing leg, relaxing the supporting side, and relaxing the stretch side too, if possible, as much as possible, while I straighten that leg out front. Give that a breath or so to try to release. And then I'm going to release with the right arm and bring this out to the left. Just explore that range of motion while still working to work on balance here. That was a lot of work, wasn't it? Amidst all that work, it's important to remember to relax, breathe, smile. That's really the key to it all. Just exploring that range of motion a little, and then I'm going to bend that leg rather, put this foot on this other supporting leg, and just find a moment of peace, a moment of clarity. Imagine myself a strong, flexible tree on a tree-covered mountain. Got some dancing breeze going on, shifting clouds, singing birds, munching insects. It's good stuff going on in the world. Releasing all of that, stomp it out a little, and then bring weight onto the left. Bring this right knee up toward right shoulder, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing that supporting side, relaxing those supporting toes. Just give a little ankle rotation on this side. Checking in with all those snap, crackle, pops. Just giving them a little hello. I'm going to reach for the bottom of this foot, and again, just enjoy a nice stretch through the backs of those shoulders briefly, and then pulling back in the shoulders, tipping that tailbone under, relaxing that supporting foot, really trying to stay as even as possible through the hips, not counter-leaning, and then straightening that side for a nice forward fold in the air. Giving that a breath or so to try to release and relax. You can alternate, play with alternating working, actively stretching with the muscles, and passively stretching with the muscles, just relaxing, just letting go, letting gravity do the work. It's a little bit trickier in a standing balancing position, but still work that I find valuable. I'm going to bring this out to the side. Just exploring that range of motion a little bit more. Playing with balance, trying to relax that supporting side. Bending this leg and setting this foot in close to the groin. Still working to open these hips, swinging this knee back, tipping this tailbone under. Nice and long and strong through the core. And again, enjoying a moment of clarity and peace. Imagine myself a strong mountain covered in strong trees, singing breezes and birds and insects. Probably some mammals too, maybe some reptiles. Sure is a beautiful, diverse world, isn't it? I love it. I hope you're loving it too. I hope you're remembering to love you first, foremost, always and always. because you are worthy of your own love. You are worth it. And what else are you going to do? You can try holding your breath and scowling, as I like to say. Just going to do a little pushing into the hips here. A little stretching of the hip socket. Do be mindful of your own hips and other sockets and joints of your body. Important to stretch into them, keep that range of motion, but also be mindful, develop a healthy, loving, kind, high expectation relationship, perhaps. That's what I'm working on with my body anyway. I'm going to root both feet under both hips and do a little hip sliding, trying to keep these hips relatively parallel to the floor. I was going to say perpendicular, that was wrong. Which requires for me rooting both feet firmly and really pulling down a little bit at the end of that slide. That brings a stretch into the torso. Over to the right, over to the left, to the right again. Definitely got some hitches in there. It's good to just explore. I'm going to come back to center, shake that off, and step into a little bit of a wider straddle position and do some more hip dips from here, which for me brings that stretch down into the inner thigh. Dipping on the right and dipping on the left. It's great to see some of you out there. I'm on the move for the next foreseeable future, so you'll be seeing me sometimes and not seeing me sometimes, but I do love it when you get to see me and I get to see you. I hope you say hi when you do. Let me know if there's something I can do for you, because that makes me happy. Do the things that you think of that you can do for you, because that also makes me happy when you're making yourself happy. I'm going to walk these feet back under the hips. Let's do a little shaking it off. Let's do just a little more arm stretching. I am contending with a lot of arm numbness and pain. I got the bone fire on pretty high lately. And it helps. It's easy to overlook, but these little movements like little medium and big circles in the hands, let's actually do a little more stretching through these wrists. Just a real quick run through of checking in with these little bones. I do recommend taking a little more time for this sometimes, and perhaps I'll give these a proper session later today. But even just a quick checking in is better than no checking in. Give these bones of fire just a little bit of love. I'm going to do a little tapping now that I mention it. Just dislodging stagnant energy. It might sound quite rigorous, and it is. I tend to get really debilitating stagnation through the arms. So for me, this is helpful. Really slap or tap firmly on these joints, dislodge that stagnant energy, bring the meridians back together, back in flow. Things tend to get stagnant in the joints the most, in my experience. Again, just smoothing out that energy. Thank you for the love. Let's do the other side, giving some rigorous slap tapping on the shoulder joints, which is where I get the most stuck stagnation. I get a lot of numbness and bone fire. I mentioned that already. It's one of my least favorite parts of my days lately, so it's good to take a little time to give a little love, offset it with some taps, slaps, smoothing, soothing. Do the smoothing and soothing. I'm just bringing those arms online, in line. It's time to move the water. I'll do that in just a sec. Let's do a little more stretching. Bringing this arm across the body, dropping that shoulder. Just relaxing, Letting that stress go through the neck, through the shoulder. Bring your other side. Trying to really relax that right arm, stretching with the left arm, dropping that shoulder. Play with the little neck stretch. While we're into that, let's bring arms behind the back. Give another proper stretch. Rolling shoulders together, rolling elbows together, pressing palms. I like to bring fingertips together and pull those down behind the body. Really stretching through the neck, through the chest, through the shoulders, and making sure not to lock those knees. I'm going to bend forward from the hips, bring these arms with me. Giving some active stretching, using the muscles to stretch the muscles is what I mean by active stretching as opposed to passive stretching, which we can do a little of too, just letting gravity do the stretching, keeping these hands loosely clasped together so they stay back there, but not using any muscles to stretch. And for contrast, using the muscles to stretch, actively pulling shoulder blades together, elbows together, pressing palms, working to relax that belly, really fold from the hips. Let's relax those again, just letting gravity do the unwinding. One more time, actively pulling shoulders together, pulling elbows together. Let's add just a little twist, a little work on the triceratops line there, as I like to call it. Just exploring that range of motion, coming back to center, and then giving that one more passive stretch, just keeping hands clasped gently, letting our elbows fall away from each other, letting gravity do the unwinding, relaxing the belly. I'm going to bend these knees, or bend the elbows rather, even more, bringing the hands down to the low back. Let's give the low back a little check, a little love. Check in with all the clumpy lumps. Come down the body, hey phone. Come down the glutes, the hamstrings. Check in with the backs of the knees, backs of calves, backs of ankles. Just bringing the whole body together. Check in with those toes, hey toes. Fronts of ankles, fronts of shins. Give the kneecaps a little love. The thighs a little love. Rolling up now, checking in with the torso. Reproductive organs, digestive organs, circulatory organs. Hey lungs, hey heart, hey pancreas, hey liver. Whew. Easy now, easy. Give a little tap to the chest here. It's a good quick tool to use if you're contending with any anxiety. Just this here can sometimes help dissipate that. I'm going to rub palms, gather stresses from the mind and the face, and just smooth those down the back of the head. Shake them off, let them go. Do that a couple more times. Just gathering stresses and letting them go. Filling the lungs with love and relaxation and appreciation. And letting it go. Let those arms swing a little bit. Oh, I almost had a clap snap. Did you hear it? It's been a long while. Anyway, hands are still swollen, but that's okay. I love them anyway. I hope you remember to love you. Take good care of you. Your body's the thing you can't really live without. So I hope you're giving it a little extra attention. And if you can, add some playfulness, some smiling, some breathing. Little goes a long way. Rick, Mickey, somebody else I can't read. Torsten, good to see you. Hope you're all doing well. Thanks for stopping by. I'll be seeing you. Ciao for now.